All right, so Braun Breaker doesn't need Seth Rollins like at all, basically. Braun Breaker, the last year of his career, I guess we're supposed to just act like it didn't happen. They're presenting him versus Sami Zayn as if we hadn't seen that match 3 times already. They never talk about the fact that he was the Intercontinental Champion, one of the youngest Intercontinental Champions, and was the Intercontinental Champion walking in to WrestleMania. They never talk about the fact that he just lost the Intercontinental Championship. They never talk about the fact that he just ran through the roster for like the past year already. They're presenting him as if he's a new character, as if we've never seen Braun Breaker before. Braun Breaker has resorted back to not speaking, so I guess he's going to be a mute, and it's going to be a big deal when he talks for the first time. You know, like Solo Sikoa or something like that, right? But I don't like this for Braun Breaker because you're sidetracking what he was already doing. He was already on pace to being a world champion. Like, this is not like a groundbreaking like idea or something because Braun Breaker was already on the road to being a world champion. He had already wrapped up his mid-card career basically, right? He was a 2-time Intercontinental Champion. He held the belt all the way into WrestleMania. And now it was time to move on to Jey Uso, you know, and settle that unfinished business, right? They have a score to settle. They're 1-1 for the Intercontinental Championship. It is now time for the third match to be at SummerSlam or something for the world title, right? But Braun Breaker has been sidetracked with this Seth Rollins thing, which is not even believable because Seth Rollins is a goof and it's not believable that Braun Breaker would follow behind him. It's honestly more believable if Roman Reigns was in Seth Rollins' spot. That would be more believable. You know what I'm saying? Every second, I feel like Braun Breaker is just going to like snap and fucking spear Seth Rollins. But like I said, he doesn't need him. Maybe that should happen. Maybe they should fast track this storyline because I feel like, you know, storylines like this, like that are very, very like predictable, the fans kind of turn on it, right? Who's to say that maybe when they want to finally put it on Braun, there's not like an indie favorite, like another Daniel Bryan situation or like a Cody Rhodes situation where it's like we want Cody or we want Daniel Bryan instead of this meathead Braun Breaker, you know? I know how they do the meathead wrestlers, you know? They did it to Batista, they did it to Roman, right? The same might happen to Braun Breaker if people see his push coming and they want somebody like, I don't know, like Sami Zayn to win the fucking world title or something. People will reject Braun Breaker for that. So I think you should have pushed him just right after Mania, right? He shouldn't have the Batista push. He should have the Brock Lesnar push, right? Batista push was too slow. You know what I'm saying? And Batista needed Triple H. Randy Orton needed Triple H to get to the next level. Braun Breaker doesn't need Seth Rollins to get to the next level. He accomplished things without Seth Rollins. He made it to WrestleMania without Seth Rollins. He became a champion without Seth Rollins. Right? Orton and Batista was a deacon and Orton was injured all the time, cutting promos on the Titantron about how his injury is 2% healed or some shit like that. Like, they were going nowhere without Triple H pulling them aside and saying, hey, y'all want to do this thing? Right? Braun Breaker was not on that kind of road, right? And they stripped Braun Breaker of all his charisma. He doesn't get to speak. He's not going to get to do the Steiner math thing, right? I get it, right? I get where they're going, but it's like, this is how you should have debuted Braun Breaker then last year, you know? You not let us get familiar with him. Let us get familiar with his chant in the dog barking and shit, and then make him a lackey for like a fucking year, maybe 2 years. Like, what if people go sour on him, bro? Like the spirit gets old, right? What if the spirit gets played out? What if people like stop liking Braun Breaker? Where it's like, you know what? He's been overexposed. This dude kind of sucks, right? What if that happens? You know what I'm saying? What if he starts jobbing out in tag matches, eating pins, right? Braun's not supposed to eat pins. Who's supposed to eat pins in the matches with Seth Rollins? Braun Breaker, right? Like I said, I think this is only gonna like hurt Braun Breaker. You know, he was already on his way. He didn't need Seth Rollins. Truth be told, he only needed Paul Heyman. And truth be told, the real draw of this faction, the real intrigue of this faction is Braun Breaker and Paul Heyman, not Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is just there. Seth Rollins hasn't changed anything about himself to make him fit the group. Seth Rollins hasn't changed anything about himself to make him more interesting. Seth Rollins hasn't even changed his theme song or the fucking dance that he does, right? Like, bro, make yourself like at least a believable leader, right? It's not believable that Braun Breaker will follow behind a goof like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess Seth Rollins beat him in NXT or whatever. Maybe, like, that's where they want to draw it back to. But that's not enough for me. That's not enough. Like Bron was supposed to beat Brock 2.0, not fucking Batista. So that's all I gotta say about that. I guess you're supposed to act like Bron Breakker's career like last year didn't happen, but whatever. I'm still interested, but this is like a little pet peeve I had with this fucking storyline. That's all I gotta say about that though, y'all. I'll catch you guys later. It's your boy BSB. Peace out.